Well, to be perfectly honest, we were pretty lucky today. I don't know what more there is to say. Look, I think I will mention that if Bristol Rovers play with that intensity for the rest of the season, I doubt highly that they'll go down. They were certainly far from the worst team that I've seen us play up here this season. But I think it's evident the same with a lot of teams this year. Other teams have not been able to match our intensity, or I should say quality rather, for majority of the game, and that's a large factor to do with why we've won a lot of matches. But that we struggled quite heavily to get going today a lot of the time. And I don't think it was with the players not trying. It was just another one of those off days. It reminded me of the Wickham game actually, and that was a very poor performance. Whereas thankfully here today, we had 2 moments of good quality, and we ended up winning the game because of it. I can't help but wonder if that Matthews equaliser right before half time hadn't have gone in and we'd been 1-0 down, would we have come back to and win that game? I pretty much doubt it, given the way that the game was going. Quickly though, I will say that it's a concern that McLaughlin went off. Apparently it's a back spasm, I think, from what social media was saying, but hopefully he's not out for too long. Don't get me wrong, I do think that Robin Reuter is definitely more than capable of holding his own in League One, and he should be, by the way. But you don't want McLaughlin out. He's definitely our best keeper. On that, Honeyman was very, very good today. The way that he got the ball, was dribbling with it and drove people forward when there wasn't that much intensity from everybody else. But other than that, there wasn't really anybody who was a standout performer for us today. I thought that was one of our poorest performances this season. But again, what does it say about you as a side if you come back to win that when you haven't been that good? It just shows a real testament to either how good this squad is or how much dedication and commitment you've got together as a group of players. As for next week, I'll tell you what, Barnsley at least got a point against Portsmouth today, but I'll tell you what, if we go to Portsmouth next week and get a win, then who knows? Obviously that's a big if, because we need to be out on our game if we're going to win next week. But if we do win, then it's looking quite tasty for the second half of the season. And you got to remember, for us, we're not even halfway through the season yet. We're only at 20 games. By the time the new year finishes, by the time 2018 finishes, we'll have been exactly halfway through our domestic season of playing 23 games. So I think to summarise it, I think Bristol was going to consider themselves probably a bit unlucky from their part. They definitely gave it their all. I was worried going into this game because they'd sacked their manager, and it was one where I thought they were going to turn up against us for the manager bounce reaction. We actually walked a Bristol Rovers fan, me and a couple of the guys walked up to the Stadium of Light Metro because she was staying in the northeast for tonight, and we were just trying to, because we kind of pointed towards the direction of the metro and sort of left her, so it felt a bit horrible, or I did, and felt I would go back and try and walk into the station, so she knew where she was going. So if she's off, if this one person's anything to go by, obviously everybody's different, but then they seem to have a good section of support. So they had a good following today, to be fair to them. So hopefully for yous lot, certainly yous will stay up. It depends who you get as a manager. It depends what January window you have, really. But as for Sunderland, that's a good win today as any, considering that we were poor. That's probably the worst game. That was our worst winning performance, if that makes any sense. Certainly Wimbledon was up there, but there you go. What more to say? Go on to Portsmouth next week and hopefully we win. Fingers crossed anyway. See you later.